Michael Bloomberg has just polled 13 and 14% in two national polls. And we've got to talk about what is the path for Michael Bloomberg, particularly if the DNC, dissatisfied with Joe Biden's disastrous performance in Iowa, decides that maybe they want to change establishment horses midstream. So remember, the DNC changed the rules a few days ago to at least potentially allow Michael Bloomberg into upcoming debates, despite the fact that he's not accepting individual donors, which up until now had been a requirement to make the debates. He now needs 10% in approved polls, and incredibly, 13 and 14% in two polls. Bloomberg is in third place, either by himself or tied with Elizabeth Warren in two polls now. Morning Consult from a couple of days ago has it as Biden 28, Bernie 24, Warren and Bloomberg tied at 14, and Pete Buttigieg back at 6. Then in the Harris poll, you have Biden 31, Bernie 20, and Bloomberg 13, 1 point ahead of Elizabeth Warren, of course, statistically within the margin of error. This needs to translate to votes, right? That's the thing. So these numbers suggest to me that indeed the DNC is going to have to decide in their effort to deny Bernie the candidacy. And in light of Joe Biden's poor performance in Iowa, do they want to get behind Pete Buttigieg? Do they want to, it seems less likely, but maybe get behind Amy Klobuchar, the other kind of establishment centrist? Or do they want to start looking at Michael Bloomberg, who of course has effectively an unlimited amount of money to spend, has more than $55 billion personally, has already poured between 1 and 200 million into ads, and potentially would do a lot more if the DNC were to get behind him. But then what happens in individual states? That's also a question, because Bloomberg skipped Iowa and New Hampshire, barely a blip. In Nevada, South Carolina, almost not there. Bloomberg's focused on Super Tuesday. So polling 0 in Nevada, but no polling since January 11. Maybe he could end up doing better there. Polling 0 in South Carolina, but that poll is 10 days old. In California and Texas, he's actually doing something between 4 and 7%. The national support will mean nothing unless he can start accumulating delegates. I said before, I think he may do it starting on Super Tuesday. But if he doesn't, then this will all be essentially for nothing. So where do you think Bloomberg's going? Will the DNC get behind him? Do you feel like you just don't have enough time to become as intellectually well-rounded as you would like to be, that there are just not enough hours in your week for you to read all of the books that you want to read? One of our sponsors is called Blinkist, and it's an app that lets you consume an entire nonfiction book in 15 minutes. It's only about $8 a month, but you can try it for free for a week and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. What Blinkist does is take thousands of popular nonfiction books and condense them into either text or audio that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And what you get is all of the most important ideas and information from the book. Imagine being able to listen to an entire nonfiction book in the amount of time it takes you to drive or walk home from work. I've just finished listening to Upheaval by Jared Diamond. Jared Diamond, a tremendous author whose work I've previously recommended. Excellent book looking at some of modern history's biggest national crises to figure out how different countries ended up in such precarious situations. Blinkist has totally transformed how I consume information. I love it. Of course, I read a book in its entirety when I can, but there are simply just so many books that I want to read and would not have the time for if it weren't for Blinkist. They have books on politics, economics, philosophy, science, you name it. You can try it out yourself, totally free for a week, and get 25% off if you decide to subscribe just by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video. Like the rest of us, I bet you're going into 2020 thinking about what you didn't get around to in 2019 and your goals for the new year. If you want to work towards being your best self in 2020, understand more about the world around you, and make sure that your time is well spent, then Blinkist is for you.